Hi guys and girls, welcome back to the spare room. This is Emma again. Another video update on this. It's in bits on my workbench and I really got to get it sorted before I can go on with something else. So here we go. There's a bit happening. I've sourced some silicone O-rings, these ones, for the push rods and piston rods, and for the piston rods and the valve rods, and these for the pump. They're actually Viton because that was only all I could get in that size, but they'll do good because there's no actual steam involved there. And these for the pistons, which are pretty chunky. Now, pull the pistons out and clean them up. And the rings that I'm on them, whereas they measure up to the same as the O-ring, they're way too tight. These go nicely in the cylinder and they want a little bit of compression. But if you have a look at applerubber.com, which seems to be the best I could find, there's an actual O-ring size calculator, or O-ring groove calculator. So I've done the math, and basically there's three things you need to get this O-ring to fit. It needs to be the right diameter bore, it needs to be the right width groove, and it needs to be the right diameter in the bottom there. So you put in the factors that you do know, like this diameter and the bore diameter, and that'll give you the groove diameter, or the groove width there. So that needs to be 236 minimum across there. These could do with a bit of a clean up, and you can see that they're a bit knocked about, and they will get a bit of a clean. And polish up, and we'll open this groove out to 236 and put him all together and just see how it fits in the cylinder. Now, I don't know how well you can actually see this, but I've just ground a piece of tool steel up there to be a little bit narrower and a little bit of clearance on each side and square across the front. A parting tool would probably do this, but you tend to get a bit of chatter and you end up with a groove that's tapered. So this is nice and solid. I've just ground that up there, and we're going to try and get this somewhere near in the middle and to the right width. If we have a look, with the calipers, we're only about 180 there on both of them. So while that's the spec for the O-ring, or the size for the O-ring, it's way too narrow. It needs to be about 50 thou wider. So what I'm going to do, because this is stainless steel, I might just give this a clean up on the outside, a bit of a polish, and then we're going to put a bit of roll coal on it and run in there both ends and see if we can get a nice finish on the inside groove and get it to the right width. And we're looking there at about 236, which is where we need to be. Pretty happy with that. Just take the burrs off here, or we'll break the O-ring. Every little bit helps. And if we have a look, that's quite a bit wider than the O-ring there. So when it squashes down, it should fill the groove just nicely. Let's have a look over here on the bench and put the O-ring on and see how it looks. So that O-ring's popped on there pretty nice, and there's a bit of gap in there, see? But the oil groove or the oil ring is all the way around that. So I'm pretty happy that it's touching and it's doing the job, and it's a nice fit in there. I've cleaned this end up, and this gland will go on there with an O-ring in it, and that screws in the back here. So I'm pushing that in, and fitting an O-ring, which is this little fella, and this gland. We hold our finger over the port there, we've got a fairly bouncy sort of an arrangement there too. So we must be doing something good. So next job is to get this pin in and everything lined up, and get this cover back on. And as we go, I'm going to make sure everything still runs as free as it does, because at the moment it's pretty sweet. And put this cover back on, and that takes a bit of time because there's a lot of little bolts to go in here, and go in fairly slowly with a little spatter. So let's have another look at it when we're all done. So pin's all in, and this is rolling. Oh, it's a bit difficult to tell really, and 2 inches of travel, but it's all rolling along the bench nicely, and I've had it down on the floor backwards and forwards, and there doesn't seem to be a lot of tight spots. So I've put some Loctite RDV on there, which is stinking rotten stuff. It goes hard and is probably about the best. It's a silicon based pipe sealant. It's red stuff. It looks the gear. Let's see how it performs, but that's what I've used. Leave the lid on it if you get some, because it goes hard in the tube. And everything's nice and clean. Put this on. If we roll this fast enough, it'll blow the lid off. But there's a fair bit of work involved in getting all these screws lined up and in here. And there's a lot of them. These, at least you can access them with your fingers. The ones on the back are a quarter of a turn at a time with a spanner. At this point I'm pretty pleased with this loco. Everything's together and looking reasonably well. There's a few things that I'm not particularly sure are going to work. First is these bumpers here. I don't know if you can see them. There's 2 bumpers here, spring loaded, and they hold the pony truck down on the track except they don't. There's a gap under these, and I don't like that very much. I guess that's something that's really got to be set up when we've got the boiler and all the weight on it. So there's not much I can do about that yet, but I'm a bit confident that's going to be a problem. Next job is to start putting the valve gear back on. I'm still waiting for some things. I'm still waiting for 532 balls for the oil valve clack. I'm still looking around for a spring, probably a Viro spring or something. I'll find something somewhere. And I'm still waiting for a bit of hex bar for a bolt that was broken or cracked because something had been loose for a while. But when all that turns up, we probably should be able to start and run this on air. Anyway, that might do us for this video anyway. So thanks for watching, and be kind to each other. Thanks to all my new subscribers who jumped on board. I hope you find this a little bit interesting. It's probably not particularly helpful stuff, but I'm not even sure it's particularly entertaining. But thanks for stopping by anyway, and be kind to each other, and more soon.